corporate citizen. I thank you all for having responded very well for my book being launched through the LinkedIn. Thank you very much. I'm here to share with you some of the salient points of the book. How it could assist you making you and your company where you work in a most optimized, profitable scale. That is the purpose. That's the purpose of the book anyway. The book I call the Book of Changes. A book should stand by its mass. Mass and energy have an influence. Energy is liberated matter. Matter is energy waiting to happen. Matter and antimatter, when they collide, they form a pure energy. Management is very simple. The whole universe is worked on these two principles. The only one which does not follow the principles that the whole universe follows are the corporate. Of course, the government also. That's why you have a tremendous problem. Sun and the solar system and the planets and everything goes in a very methodical manner. I know pretty well when the sun rises tomorrow morning and when it is going to. It's very methodical, I know exactly. We take things for granted. I would like you to take things for granted for the companies also in the same fashion. If you apply the principles I have given in the book, it's very going to be very important. What is the second one which I mentioned? The matter is the one energy is waiting to happen. What does it mean? NPA. If you leave the matter that has been attended to, it leads you to a non-performing asset. So do not do that. What is antimatter? You corporate citizen are the only one having that pulsating energy. It is a triggering device for each person, whether I shall take up my initiative to collide with the matter. If I do it, I create energy. That antimatter is the possession of the human race, nobody else. You look around your own room. If you're alone, don't be afraid, you're the only pulsating member. The rest of it is all matter. That is one. 2. Let us slightly push it to a higher level. Profits are very important. Profit motive is the one that takes up towards profit. If you are not for profits, society does not want you. If you are for profits, then yes, that comes out of efficiency. Sustainability of efficiency gets you the profits. Society is happy. But the sustainability of value system give you the sustainability of profits. And that is the assurance that you have to give to the society. Ethics is subtler than the subtle. When you have profit motive, when you sign the first register your company, is the ethical motive which is being displayed first, not profit motive. And how you are offering yourself for a greatness of the society and whatnot, all that blah blah. But it's never practiced from that day onwards. At least never measured. Ethical motive is subtler than the subtlest. So you got to measure the one, ethics and ethical motive, in a manner that it is measurable. As Galileo said, measure what is measurable, make measurable what is not so. That is what this book provides you with. The one which is ethical motive transforms into a matter and makes you how to measure. The moment you say measure, you can't measure a philosophical idea. To get the measurement, you've got to have a quantitative analysis. So ethical motive must be transformed, converted into a tangible item. It could be an IPR, it could be a policy statement, it could be anything. But these are the things through which the ethical and qualitative elements of management are being given to us. It should be visible. It should take up space and must have a mass. The book is a mass, is made of ethical motive. That is number 2. Number 3, I have suggested in my book that you do the LRP for 100 years. We do LRP for 5 years and we fail on the first year. In the first month onwards, we do the debate, the variance analysis. I'm going to talk about it just in the next talk. Then how you can do for 100 years? Yes, you can. If that be the case, in what way the book would be relevant 100 years from now? This book provides you the 2 important aspects of corporate management, is benchmarking and metrics. The benchmarking and metrics that are being provided to you through this book will remain unchallenged. I repeat, unchallenged forever, forever. That is untouchable. That means it's good enough for another 4.5 billion years. What are you talking about 100 years? Okay? Thanks. Once it is done, let me talk about a few words about IBCM. IBCM is inactivity-based cost management. Activity has got a cost incidence. Inactivity has a cost consequence. Activity we show in P&L and balance sheet. Inactivity we are not showing anywhere, but I'll tell you how to show it. You prepare a CREAM report. CREAM is corporate governance, risk management, earnings, accounting quality, management quality. E is the only one quantitative. The balance 4 are qualitative elements of management. Inactivity has got a cost consequence. Measure it, cost consequence now. That is the phenomenon. And we don't do that. If we are going to do that, as per the second law, the matter is the one where energy is waiting to happen. The waiting to happen is the inactivity. So you have, from the first you have got the quantitative elements of management. That is earnings and P&L and balance sheet. Then I told you about the qualitative elements of management, ethical management, made up of various management quality materials. like code of conduct and this and that one. In the book, I have provided 170 process flows, not 80, out of which, for the purpose of preparing a cream report, out of which E, the P&L and balance sheet, quantifies to 1 to 12, that's all. The balance 158 is of qualitative management. Please note how we run our companies, why we keep adding up to the NPA again and again for the various places. 158 out of the total corporate operating system we don't touch at all. We talk. Let me take it back to 1966, when there was a very good book, Management Control Systems by Anthony, Dearden and Nancy. That is when I first, as far as I'm concerned, heard about Goal Congruence. Goal Congruence is a tough subject, a tough process. It's easy to talk philosophy, very difficult to apply it. In the context of, say, a company with about 450,000 workforce, each person having a different goal pose, there is a possibility of having a goal congruence. With the organization structure that we have, what is it that we have the organization structure? Like in China, every company is a hierarchical one-man call center. Whether you like it or not, this is what is happening around. CEO, VP1, VP2, VP3, VP4, VPN, any number of VPs. When post facto we discuss the variance analysis in a company like 450,000 guys with a different goalposts, no one agrees with the other. Rather, they tend to disagree with the other guy, and the other guy is wrong. The VP concerned supports that fellow, he has to, and he doesn't say the other VP, you are right, I am wrong, we will correct it. Never happens. And this is a major problem that you have. The organization structure, which is flat as the trencher. What you have to do is to break it. Unless you break it, these n-dimensional functions we cannot bring together for a goal congruence. You don't see the goal congruence, you see the goal confusion with several goalposts. Those n-dimensional functions have to be brought to n functions of a single dimension. Take notice of it. It was in March 2011, I did an analysis of SAP Sustainable Report on UNGC. UNGC, there are 4 issue areas and 10 principles. I have given the reference in my book, and the full details of it you can download by referring to the book. Suffice to say, at this point of time, as you may note, as I have given here, the final summary report says the net rating is 2. It's made up of 1, 3, 5 and that sort of thing. In this is they are creating, it's a creative process. What the book also says as a intellectual value capital. You create something for the purpose of taking an action. Any strategy plan is a creative process. It starts with something and ends with a plan. That is that as far as SAP is concerned. But what you will note, even though they got ultimately 2, they got in one particular item, that is principle number 10, 5. Getting 5 is very tough, as you will see in the book, because 0 to 5, because you go through the several processes of identifying whether it matches with the, as I said, the benchmarking, based on which metrics are being given. In anti-corruption, in addition to UNGC principle number 10, normally I use UNCAC, United Nations Conventions Against Corruption. UNCAC, as you will see from my book, it is something extraordinary. It is the benchmark for any one of the various policy statements that you prepare. I repeat that over here again. The UNCAC is the best template that you should use for the purpose of creating a policy. In that process, I've created, assessed SAP 2010 Sustainability Report. Remarkable, isn't it? They did achieve at least one of the top. But in Feb 2016, this is extraordinary. I saw that SAP arrived at a compromise with SEC on one of the bribery scandal that possibly roughened up SAP by settling about $3.6 million. Yeah. This is, you make an attempt, you create a wonderful process, and in the action process, you fail. So you have 2 in the intellectual value capital for which you have created. In the action process, you fail. You get 0. So 2 plus 0 divided by 2. There are 2 process. You get 1. So intangible value capital is equal to intellectual value capital plus action value capital. You got 1. The second one, which I said, that we have matter is energy waiting to happen. The waiting to happen is the one of an activity. Agree? That waiting to happen for SAP to optimize themselves in this particular case of UNGC principle 1 to 10, they ultimately get 1. The one they get, and maximum that you can get is 5. So they have 4 as inactivity. 1 is activity, 4 is inactivity. There is no energy being put through. This means you have a major problem. This had been the case which had been talked through during the financial crisis 2008. Siemens had a problem, and you have Volkswagen problem. These problems invariably occur in the action value capital is missing, when action value capital is missing. In action value capital, you may or may not have intellectual value capital already being created. In this case, they have created. In the case of Siemens, they have created. If you go through the Siemens past records and what I have quoted in my book, you'll be surprised. They have made a wonderful intellectual value capital on various factors, but failed in action value capital. This is where the inactivity is paramount importance. Then, what is the next step? As far as SAP is concerned, please pick up my book. come out with a good report. Go for 100 years from today, where none of us are going to be survive, and then we can talk of the Gen Next. We are all very particular about Gen Next, what we are going to do. Put it that, and what you can do right now to overcome whatever the failures that you have already got out of this UNGC. I'll give one example. The total this thing is one too many. With any number of employees that you want to implement it. It is not a big, it's not a multi-billion dollar re-engineering process. It's a simple process. If all of you sit down, if make yourself multiples of 5 people, if you got 100,000 or 500,000 people, it does not matter. Take as many as you want in their own area of operations. Bring the clean reports. Unless you bring the clean report, a company like SAP is putting on the top, is one of the topmost companies of the world. If you do not give a lead, what will they do? And so many millions of micro and small industries. You are there not for the purpose of profits. You are there for the purpose of ethical motive to be that will have an impact on about millions of other small companies. Give a lead. Same case with Siemens, same case with Volkswagen. You have erred. If you have erred, it does not matter. Come back with a clean report and bring the data to the table. Society is table. What you are doing is trying not to, okay, it has happened, just suppress it under the table, under the carpet. It won't do any good for you. In the case of Bayer, they are not in the same category as Volkswagen or Siemens or SAP. They are in different category. They erred. It's like in tennis balance they say unintended error, unforced error. They made a mistake on the 6 strategy plan stages. Stage number 5. Please go through the stage number 5. Do not come out of the to stage number 6, which is a strategy plan. If you go through the SAP 6 UNGC sustainability report and the points that they got, other than principle number 10, the balance 9 is very bad. So this is the one that has brought into limelight regarding the 5th stage. This is where Bayer had erred. And Bayer, I have a lot of respect. If you please see the dedication page for my book, I have indicated to the reverse mentoring, reverse mentors. Who are the reverse mentors? My grandkids, I have done. The reverse mentoring, I read it from Harish of Bayer, and they are doing a good job. They've erred to the magnitude of over $60 billion. And glyphosate, whether they thought about it beforehand or not, I do not know. But this is what you have to bring about. If you erred at that point of time before making a M&A with Monsanto, bring it up and put it on the society's table. We are looking at companies who are going to grow in a phenomenal manner, as we said about the Goal Congruence. And this is what your company workforce have to join together and come back with something very positive. Erring is all right, it can happen, but corrective part of it is missing, absolutely missing. There are 2 factors of that. Either you do not know how to do the metaphysical concept being converted into physical concept. That is one. Number 2, indifference. There is ethical indifference is the one which is really somehow you feel okay bad about it. This Volkswagen, particularly 11 million vehicles fitted with the software which is not cheat software, they say, on emission control. Yeah, you can come back. You've got to come back. The only way that you can come back is bring what you want to do now, after having yet, bring it to the society's table. You will do well. That is my advice. Everybody who is working for the company, please, whichever the company that you are in, make the CRIM report, and that is your future. Otherwise, thank you. And let us move into the last of my talk with regard to a return on intangible. The return on intangible will have to replace the return on investment. This factor, intangible as the energy force, as the denominator, we have, as we earlier discussed, the ones with regard to the waiting to happen. The waiting to happen of energy not being put through, the matter is being kept as a matter, is in the in-tray, it hasn't gone to the out-tray. The longer the time it takes, the lower the rating that you get. Who will do that? To the person who is responsible. That person who is doing very well in a company is going to be identified by return on intangible. And a task is not for one person. One task is being distributed to 5 different persons. These 5 different people, they also look into the fiscal responsibility and ethical responsibility. It's not that one task is being run by only one person, it can never happen. So you have the optimized level of performance. Instead of each person debating why the other fellow is wrong, each person is going to compete with the other guy who is the best. You are given a task, you are given a target. It's like playing cricket and Virat Kohli goes and takes a century. We are going to talk about the individuals who are going to do well. And anything that happens which includes the ethical responsibility. When you put this on for an individual, it will be the new brand name globally, comparable with anybody anywhere in the world. Then you added up the company rate. You go to the country rate. S&P and other rating agencies, please look into this rating system, particularly the country rating system. You establish 100 years from now, none of these bridges and thing may be of consequence. But what time they had done it, and how ethically it had been done so, and who the person who had done it, will all be available anytime later. And that is a global brand which is going to compete with individual to country in performing in this COVID-19 time. 800 million people have been given a free food grains as a national ration by Narendra Modi. That Modi is a brand name, not BJP. Why he is a brand name? Because of the ethical values that he had imbibed. It's very important. It will stand, his name will stand forever. So other people were talking corruption. This guy won't be able to talk of corruption. Okay. In the same case, if you apply to a company, you have a brand name coming. That brand name anywhere in the world is going to be compared with the benchmarking done by within a company one of the best, and within the country one of the best, within the international, national and international different nations one of the best. They come out. Like Modi would be the benchmark, and same benchmark is applied to a single individual. So you are not selling a product, you are creating a personality for as the brand name. A collection of such personality in a company going to flourish. It makes no difference when he says pulsating energy. There's no gender bias. A person joining the company at the age of 20 and stay there for about 30-40 years to different companies identified with the cream chain. Please look into it. He will not be forgotten. Why I say he, she will not be forgotten. It is very important. There is no gender bias as such. To be selected as a CEO, to be selected as an independent director, and men and women of quality are going to make the difference. They are the brand. Wherever they go, they will be welcome. Okay, not the brand name for which you go for a brand equity from one of those banks. Please, no. We have brought ourselves very badly without a proper measurement system. We have a good measurement system to the extent of going up to the country rating for a win. Don't miss it. My book is there. I have no problem on that. It's going to be there forever. That's why I call as the book of changes. Previously, the book of changes that you know so far is the revive. Inching. This inching is a very good thing. It is told that Chinese in the last 5,000 years have never made any decision without consulting inching, as told or being talked about by Confucius. Even though I doubt it is not being touched upon in the last 100 years. And you know what happens to China because of that. My book has replaced that. The book of changes.